Broadcast section with no embargo, followed by an embargo section for 10:30 p.m. on Tuesday. No live tweeting during the broadcast section and use a microphone provided. Gary.
Oh, Thomas, you need to do more press conferences.
Yeah.
Mo Kudus.
Second?
Mo Kudus, injury update.
He's going for a scan here, 1 o'clock to clarify the issue. So, unfortunately, I don't have, how can I say, a big update on it.
Okay, so, but obviously ruled out for
yeah, most likely ruled out for Bournemouth, yeah.
With Destiny, he's due back, right?
I haven't talked about that before, so he's training and he's looking better, so that's positive.
Okay. And as it's Bournemouth, I'm going to ask you again because it's Dom's old club, the likelihood of he even maybe been involved, travelling with the team, that kind of thing.
No, will not, but positive going forward.
Brennan Johnson, I know you've answered a lot of questions about Brennan Johnson, but I was here late last week and I said to you, you tried to buy him when you were at Brentford. What's changed? And you said I could ask you again when the deal had been confirmed. So I'm asking you again.
Well remembered, yeah, that's fair. Two different situations, two different clubs. Brennan have made himself a club legend in some ways, scoring the winning goals in Bilbao, winning the fantastic Europa League trophy. Done well, were the top scorer last year, I think, in all competitions, doing well. Then Mo Kudus came in, playing on the right wing, which is also Brennan's best position. Not that he can't play to the left, best position. And then for the long-term plans, there was an opportunity to sell Brennan now and give him an opportunity to try something else. So that was the right decision.
Because quite recently, similar players, if players can be similar, have similar profile, similar positions, have been sold for much more than 35 million. I wonder whether you felt the club had got the right value for him.
That is someone who's very good at negotiating prices and buying and selling players much better than me. So I think that's the question for them, if I'm fair. I think that's fair.
Okay, fair enough. Again, last time I was here, I asked you about a job interview that you had a couple of summers ago. Chelsea, you didn't get the job. I asked if you'd had a lucky escape. The same day, I think you've revealed you had an interview for the Manchester United job. Same question, did you have a lucky escape?
I'll probably repeat it, just repeat my answer from last press conference. We don't know what's happened behind the scenes. That's up to you guys or journalists following Man United closely. It can be something with the head coach, something with the ownership, leadership. It can be misalignment, whatever. Most likely the most common reasons for that a head coach is either stopping or getting sacked. I think it's just another example from my point of view that it's very difficult to achieve sustainable success if you change key personnel in clubs, like the head coach, like the sports directors. I think if you think you have the right ones and you're aligned, you need to do it over a long time. So now it's two clubs with 1.5 years. Again, I'm not judging it. I'm just saying that's actually the facts. In that sense, there could be many reasons for it. I just don't know. In this fantastic, beautiful football world, is you win one day and play well, you're in heaven. You lose and you don't play that well, and you're in hell. The best clubs, they are aligned, ownership, leadership, and head coach over time, and you keep the noise out, and you look at what's the progress behind it. It goes up and down, and hopefully over time more and more up, and then you achieve something big together. And the three biggest latest example of that, of course, is Liverpool, City, and Arsenal.
You mentioned there that you work quite happily as a head coach here and at Brentford. Ruben Amorim seemed to think he was a manager, even though his title was head coach. Is there only a subtle difference, or is there a big difference? You work happily with sporting director or directors personally?
I don't know. I think these days it's more or less that there's all clubs there's a sports director or a technical director or whatever we call it. There's definitely one above you, no matter if you're a manager or a head coach. If you're a manager, I guess is the chairman of the board or what is it? Or is it sometimes the CEO? I think there's different constructions in clubs, but most likely, no matter if you're the head coach or the manager, it's not like you just got the key for the money box or whatever you call it, and just open it and pull out millions and just buy players and have no responsibility. So for me, no matter what kind of title you have, for me, it always needs to be collaborative between the head coach, the sports director, ownership, leadership, whatever. So you're completely aligned in what you do. Then sometimes there'll be disagreements. Hey, we all push, we're all competitive, but that needs to be completely aligned. And again, that's where the biggest success you see is coming.
Thank you. Just finally back to Tottenham. 13th in the table doesn't sound so good, but then if you say you're 4 points off the top 5, that sounds a bit better. It's a crazy league, isn't it?
It's a very crazy league, very even league. I said that I think the competition between teams is very big. The difference between teams is very small. It's small margins. So we need to look optimistic and positive on the future, but also understanding where we are and keep working very hard to improve and make sure we are ready against a very good Bournemouth team. I know they haven't won as much lately, but they are a team that is very competitive with Iraola. Watched the game against Arsenal. That was a very tricky game that Bournemouth easily could have at least get something out of. Ali.
Hello again, Thomas. I was going to ask about Cristian Romero. Obviously got that FA charge. Have the club, did they appeal that? I think the time limit has now passed.
Yeah, we have appealed that, yeah.
And when do you expect to kind of find out? Sorry, that might be one for you.
That I honestly, I don't know. No, we appealed it. I know he's available for Bournemouth. That's the game ahead for me.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I want another defender I want to ask you about, Ben Davies. Obviously came into the team, played 88 minutes even though he hadn't started a game this season. How important is it to have someone like Ben who, presumably he's not a guy that kind of moans or strops behind the scenes, he just kind of comes in and does exactly what you want him to do?
I think those type of characters are so underrated in many ways. Ben is a fantastic character, a true pro, and I would say ambassador for this club. The things he experienced the last 11 years here with all the ups and the downs and the ups and the downs, and with how many 15 different managers, something like that, or at least a few. He's a fantastic guy to have, and the way he stepped on the pitch with how composure, personality, just helped us a lot. So I think he did very well.
Another player came in and did well, Mathys Tel. Can he get the minutes under you that he needs, or will he have to head off maybe on loan if you were to bring someone else in this month?
I think it's pretty fair to say that we are maybe a little bit short on offensive options. So hopefully, as I think also is fair, I think there's no one who's really grabbed that shirt in the left-hand side. So I think that's definitely up for, up for grab. So I think it was a positive performance from Matty. I think he did some positive things and got into good situations. Had actually one where he bent it to the long corner, where I think he's probably the best finisher from that position, where I think he is a little bit disappointed himself. It's fair, he's young. It's not that he played 5 games in a row, and then there would probably been a little bit more. I hoped, of course, for him and for us that he could do it, and we've seen it. So that was good, and I think he was also taking more care of the ball. I think it's a big thing. Is also spoke about that against Brentford and Crystal Palace. We lose the ball maybe 20-25 times. You should never lose the ball. That's also part of it. You can't break through. Okay, you protect it. 1 more pass, 2 more pass. Okay, then we go again. But overall, positive.
Something else I was going to ask you, it surprised me when I looked at the end of the game. Spurs obviously dominant in the first half, a lot of the ball, But actually, overall possession-wise, Spurs had less, despite being the home side against Sunderland. How do you kind of explain how that kind of happened? How does Spurs kind of concede possession against a promoted team coming to them, I suppose?
I think there's two things. They played I think the first thing, as I said, I agree with you. The first half was by far better than the second. And even first half, it was not like we had 65% or whatever. And sometimes it's not only about the possession. You like to dominate, but they went man-man, so there's a lot of open spaces to run into. For me, that's more the critical areas that we didn't manage to punish from this game, I would say. Second half, I felt we dropped off in our drop-off runs to open up and keep the ball. And I think we also, of course, we are not but we are a team. It's not like we won 5 games in a row and everything is just free and smooth. So when you're up 1-0, you really badly want to win. That can be a little bit, maybe nervy, a little bit, even that we should just, one thing is our name and fantastic history, and another reality where we are right now.
Finish with George, please.
Hi, Thomas. Just going back to Mathys Tel, actually, you obviously tried a lot of different options on the left. I know you're not just going to confirm he's going to start the next 5 games, but are you kind of eager to try and give him a run at left wing now, just to see if he can be the answer after that performance, especially?
I would say that he definitely did a positive impact. Let's see what will happen against Bournemouth, but I'm with you. Is that fine balance of giving some players the trust for a run of games, so they can maybe hopefully find into a bit of rhythm and also increase their performance level. And then the tactical approach of the opponents, which players fit to that, and get the right mix and balance in the team. But matching in general was positive.
And I guess with Bournemouth, obviously that's the next game, an important game. You've also got the FA Cup on Saturday, Aston Villa at home, huge important competition. Does that kind of come into your thinking when you select the team for Wednesday, or do you have to be kind of, head down, just focus on that next one?
For me, it's head down, focus on the next one. Next one is always the one ahead of me, or ahead of us. For me, the FA Cup is also hugely important. Both games will be treated very, very important. It's not like there will be... If there's rotation, then it's because of rotation of getting freshness and energy into the team, and that will be the main focus with that.
And because it is Bournemouth, Dom Solanke feels like the sort of, the easy kind of topic. Just with him, has he looked over this last week in training? And I guess he's missed such a long period of time. Kind of what gives you the confidence that when he is back, he can sort of hit the ground running and really make an impact straight away?
Today you could see training that he's nice and composed on the ball, and then good decision, good touches, and then with a little bit more competitive in the small-sided, you'll of course lack. I looked a little rusty, which is completely normal. Now he's unfortunately been out for at least 6 months, right? Yeah, 6 months, a little bit more than that. So of course it will take a little bit of time. So even if he's ready for in whatever time in the near future, hopefully, then I think we will be surprised if we just see him hit the ground running. Very few players does that. And
just finally with the opponents, Bournemouth, Andoni Iraola obviously had a brilliant couple of last 2 seasons there, a bit of a difficult time now, but you've got a very good record against him, won 3 I think out of the last 4 when you was the Brentford boss. What is it about him that you admire, and I guess what makes his teams very difficult to play against, it, even though you obviously have a good record against him?
I think Iraola has done a top job down there, first and foremost, being part of creating a interesting team with interesting players that done well and developed them, so they also gone to on paper big addresses. They play a very aggressive pressing game. It's one of the best pressing teams in the league, if not the best. They play with incredible intensity. When they do that, also play fairly direct. So, if you press, boom, there's a ball behind and needs to deal with that. And they had a very lively front 4, no matter who plays. So that's where we need to be good and compete, but also be smart.
Okay, we'll end the broadcast section there. Move on to the embargo section for 10:30 p.m. on Tuesday.